Hey folks, Crazy Climber 80 here again, and it's time we're going to look at a game called Legend of Success Joe, and I nicknamed this Legend of Sucks Ass Joe, or something similar, because it's terrible. It's easily the worst game for the NEO GEO, and this was created by a company called Wave. This is based on the manga known as Tomorrow Joe, or ASHITA no Joe. I believe that's, ASHITA no Joe. But this was created in 1991, and this was a year after the NEO GEO was created, so this really should have been better than it was. But it's a boxing game, and it's really bad. The graphics are terrible, the movements are terrible. Just everything about this game is really, really bad, and people who are fond of the NEO GEO often refer to this one as the worst in the system, or for the arcade system. And I find it very hard to disagree. It is terrible, so yeah, I will call it Legend of Sucks Ass Joe. But this was created by a company called Wave. And like I said, it's a boxing game. You have various complicated controls on which punches you can do with what button punches or what directions of the joystick you use in conjunction with the buttons. The A button will jab and the B button will block. And you can use the A and B buttons together to do powerful moves. We'll get started in just a moment. There are like 10 different guys that you will face. And sometimes you will face them like in an alley, and sometimes you will face them in the boxing ring. But the graphics are very, very unimpressive. And the movements of the characters especially is really stiff. Some of the enemies do moves that are just really, really hard to counter, and they just bludgeon you with them over and over, and it's really unfair. But here are the controls. Pressing back and A does a jab, just pressing A does a straight, pressing A and B together does power straight. But pushing A and B together with any kind of movement of the joystick does a super powerful move. And here we're in an alley, and we start out with the first enemy. But a number of the guys, early on at least in the alley, don't take much to bring down. And this guy who's got second-degree burns on his skin attacks you, and he takes a little bit more than just... He might take a little bit more than just regular punches that you've been giving the enemy. And then we meet your trainer. And that was a reformatory that you were in, and now you're ready to actually face a boxing opponent in the ring. And you're going to face Shohei Inagaki. Like I said, some of your opponents are in the alley and some of them are in the ring. There is a sway move that you really, really, really need to learn to have any success whatsoever in this game. And you pull back and you press B to use it. And you will dodge a number of moves that the opponent does. And right after you dodge them, you'll almost always want to counterattack right away. Like that. But like I was saying, pull back and A and jab, press A for straight, A and B power straight, forward and A hook, forward and A B power hook, up and A uppercut, up and A and B power uppercut, down and A body blow, down and A and B power body blow, back and B is sway, and that's what you want to do a lot. Down and B is low guard, forward and B is block. But anytime yours or the opponent's single power bar, there are 3 of them, is depleted, you or they will fall over. And there I beat him. And when you beat an opponent in the ring, you'll see the final move in slow motion that knocked him out. Just very, very crappy game. The manga is probably a lot more fun to participate in, to read, than to play this game. When you start the next level, you have the same amount of life bars that you had when you left off previously. So I am short 1 life bar against this guy. Yeah, you have to dodge this guy's attacks and then counterattack. And sometimes they do those attacks so quick you don't seem to have much time to dodge, or as the controls call it, sway, again, which is backwards and B. And you do that when they start doing their attacks. And I guess this guy likes to do 3 straight attacks, and then you'll want to dodge all of those, or sway all of those, and then do a counterattack. But it's hard to know when they're going to do those sometimes. But when you continue, you don't keep your points. You do start your whole life bars all over, though. Oh boy, was that close. And there's my trainer who says some Japanese I can't decipher. And then his next opponent is Toru Rikishi. And he has to fight him in the ring. But remember to kind of fall in love with the sway move, which is again backwards and B, and you will dodge backwards from their attacks. Boy, he's got 3 life bars and I've got 1. Can I still win? There, I'm dodging his attack, or swaying from his attack, and counterattacking with a power move so I can take off chunks of his life bar. And that's really the way you want to go, but some of the enemies mix up their attacks with... mix up their single attack with double attacks, or triple attacks, and you don't know which one is coming sometimes. Wow, that was a lot easier than I expected it to be. I had 1 life bar and he had 3. Not bad. But yeah, this game is terrible. Definitely the worst Neo Geo game. There's some other ones that are pretty bad, but this is the worst. And now some of these guys will do a forward quick attack, and you need to sway from that, and then counterattack with a power move. And some of these guys do a low attack, and you have to block low, which is forward and B. And then there's the boss. He does like a donkey kick, which is really annoying. Oh, screw you, buddy. Well, then I'm prompted to continue, but I'm not going to do it here. I will show you the rest of the game in a little bit. Or at least snippets of the remaining levels. But yeah, that was very disturbing. I killed a man. Wasn't that Toru Rikishi that I killed with my bare hands? Kind of disturbing. That just not really supposed to happen in boxing too often. I know it has happened, but we'll pick up where I left off. Yeah, I hate this frickin' guy. I put invincibility on. But yeah, some of these guys just have very unpredictable patterns. Joe made a successful comeback to the ring. Tiger Ozaki is my next opponent. Some very, very ugly opponents in this game. Oh, that reflects the general manga style of the manga Tomorrow Joe. Ashita no Joe. This guy can be susceptible to a power uppercuts. And the power uppercut is up in A and B. There's no use for the C and D buttons in this game. And down he goes. Yeah, Joe, I think Yabuki was his name. Your character's name. That uppercut there, it made it look like he was crouched down on the floor so low to do the uppercut. It looked kind of silly in that picture there. Now I face a couple bodyguards, or a single bodyguard, with Carlos Rivera. Or Rivera. And the bodyguard gets one shot at you, and then Rivera does this jumping attack. It's really frickin' stupid. But I think maybe when he crouches down, yeah, you can do an uppercut or a body blow. And the power body blow was down in A and B. And there he goes. But yeah, I think the proper nickname for this game is Legend of Sucks Ass Joe. So I'm just gonna call it from that from now on. Well, no, I'll call it Legend of Success Joe. But during this review. But normally I would call it Legend of Sucks Ass Joe. Now we face Kin Ryuhi, and you have to sway his high attacks and block his body blows and counterattack with power uppercuts. Power uppercuts are good for enemies that like to get sort of close. They deal a substantial amount of damage, as do any of the power moves. But you'll definitely, at the very least, need to know how to do the sway move, which again is back and B. Now we see the final move that takes him out. And you can't even really see it because it was an uppercut, or a body blow. And now I face Harimo. Didn't they make gummy bears? oh wait, that's Haribo, I think. And this guy's a serious asshole. He does these stupid-looking acrobatic moves and donkey kicks and he doesn't sit still. He will eventually, I guess, stop just for a very short time, and then he goes back to jumping around like a flea. This guy's a son of a bitch. And then the final opponent is Jose Mendoza. But here they call him Jose Mendoza. Well, they didn't quite have a grasp of Spanish. But yeah, you want to use the sway a lot, and this guy likes to do multiple attacks. But you have to learn to love the sway move in this game, and just know which opponents are going to do multiple attacks or single attacks, and counterattack when they finish their attack. But yeah, this game's terrible. Definitely better boxing games before and since. But yeah, thank God for invincibility. Yeah, notice that his hair is now white. That's weird when he gets up. But notice that an opponent will not just get knocked out. They have to get up twice. Never heard of a person being hit hard enough to make their hair turn white. This is the ending. And that was Legend of Success Joe, created by Wave in 1991. And it was based on the manga ASHITA no JOE, or Tomorrow Joe. I've never read the original manga. I'm sure it's more entertaining than playing this crappy game. I didn't mention to this point, but this was suggested by NEO GEO fan and YouTube user Charlie Cat. Keep those requests coming. I'm still doing them. Sorry, sometimes I can't do them because the controls don't work right, or the game's not completed in MAME, or it's a racing game and the steering controls are a pain in the butt to set up properly. I do what I can. I'll try to get back to you if I can't make the game work. But keep coming up with the game you think I'll be able to review, and I'll definitely do one of those. Well, that is Legend of Success Joe by Wave in 1991 for the NEO GEO. And definitely my choice for the worst NEO GEO game. This is Crazy Climb Radio saying thanks for watching Legend of Success Joe by Wave in 1991, also known as Ashita no Joe Densets, suggested by YouTube user Charlie Cat. Have a good one, folks. I'll see you later. Take it easy, everybody, and bye-bye.